The Land Before Time. The Past and the Future. Chapter 33. Perform Until You Drop Dead. Chomper and his parents were on stage locked up in cages in front of dozens of people. Now then, prepare for one of these Tyrannosaurus Rexes will be showing off their jaw strength, the magician announced. The crowd cheered in excitement. Then, the magician walked over towards Chomper's cage and opened it. "All right, Run, come out. Your act is on," the magician whispered sternly. Chomper gulped in fear as he walked out of the cage and onto the stage. Now then, here's what this T-Rex is going to do. He's going to bite right through these 10 items that I will lay in front of him. He will bite through them. His life depends on it, the magician announced sternly. Chomper started to sweat a bit. The magician laid out a large watermelon in front of him. "Now bite," the magician ordered sternly. Chomper bit right through the watermelon. The crowd cheered in amazement. "Great work, 1 down 9 to go," the magician said. Meanwhile at the warehouse, Littlefoot, Sierra, Ducky, Spike, Petrie, Ruby were all locked up in steel cages. Littlefoot was laying down while he banging his tail on the steel poles. Then Littlefoot was suddenly slapped on the head by Ozzy. "Hey, cut it out. That's getting on my nerves," Ozzy said, annoyed. "You two won't get away with this," Sierra said, annoyed. "Oh, it looks like we did," Strut said sarcastically while chuckling. "Face it, this time we got you. You runts have been a thorn in my side, and I had enough of you," Ozzy said, annoyed. Then Ozzy was suddenly whacked in the back of his head. "What the hell?" Strut yelled panically. Then Strut was whacked in the back and the head. Ozzy and Strut were now laying on the floor completely knocked out unconscious. Littlefoot and the others looked up and smiled excitedly. Meanwhile back on stage, Chomper was biting through 10 items. The crowd cheered in excitement. This T-Rex has bit through 9 items, but now all he's got one more item to bite through, and it's a big one, the magician announced. Chomper was exhausted, and his jaw is sore. Then the magician laid out a large metal pipe in front of him. Chomper's eyes widened. "Now watch the real strength of a T-Rex's jaws," the magician announced. Chomper bit the metal pipe, but he couldn't bite through it. "Oh!" Chomper yelled out in pain. The crowd gasped. The magician had a worried look on his face. "Sorry about that, folks. My T-Rex just didn't use enough strength, that's all," the magician said nervously. The magician looked at Chomper angrily. Chomper looked at the magician while he had tears in his eyes. The magician snapped his fingers and ordered him to bite the metal pipe. Chomper shook his head. Then, the magician pulled out his remote. Chomper's eyes widened in fear. The magician pushed the button, then Chomper was hit by 1,000 volts of electricity. Chomper screamed in pain and agony. The crowd gasped in horror. Chomper's mother and father roared angrily. The magician was smiling sincerely. But then, the lights on stage went off.